So we're making our way through Zombicide Invader. The invasion has landed. And being a couple of games in, the question that first comes to mind, what's the difficulty? How's the challenge rating on this game compared to Black Plague and Zombicide Modern? Because one of the I was going to say criticisms, but probably observation is a better definition, is that the game it can be very swingy on there. I mean, you have cards that will spawn, essentially tanks, workers, or runners, or different 3 classes on there. You have the abominations. You mix them in, even though it's a good-sized deck before any of the expansions. Turn 1 or 2, when you don't have much gear, you could draw an abomination. You could draw a couple of spawns in there and really get overwhelmed very, very quick. And certainly good tactics are going to help mitigate that. Certainly having a plan, working as a team is going to cushion against that. But the random is there. The AI of the game really can swing and work against you. So sometimes what we see, I won't say a hopeless cause, but sometimes the difficulty level is all over the place. Sometimes Zombicide plays really well, and other times, right out of the gate, you're like, wow, this is challenging. And there have been ways to kind of scale up and down. I will say that the 2 things that I like about Invader, that it does really, really well, the scalability in terms of difficulty works. They hit it just right. Now, you still have to have 6 or more survivors to play. There are still the rules where if one survivor gets killed, the entire group loses. I've had some issues with this over various incarnations of Zombicide, because it shouldn't be if one player gets knocked out, the entire team loses. The game's over. It should be if the entire team gets wiped, then, okay, the mission's over on there. But I understand, I've come to the opinion, and I'd love to hear in the comments if you guys think otherwise. I don't think this is a question of challenge and difficulty. I think it's a question of keeping all of the players engaged. I play Zombicide solo a lot, but I also play it a lot with a group. And if you get knocked out and it's towards the beginning of the game, and now you're going to sit for whatever reason, just went against you, or maybe you were kind of risky on there, you took some risks, it didn't work out, you get knocked out. We're here to play a game. We're here to have some fun. We're here to roll some dice and create some crazy Invader memories. Do you want to sit around for the next hour? It would be better to reset the game. It also works and encourages, I mean, it's not a perfect system, nothing is. It also works to encourage cooperative play, where at the beginning of the turn, after we've spawned and we're ready to go, and we've activated and we've passed that player 1 token, now it's like, okay, let's sit down as a team. I mean, everyone's going to control their character. You have to take responsibility for that. But let's sit down and analyze this board and see what's going on. Everyone has a stake in the game, even the loose cannon players out there that are going to kind of go rogue, because if one player goes down, you all lose. So it's not a perfect mechanic, but it works on there. But the scalability comes in 2 flavors, in 2 ways. The first is now they've broken up the cards in the starting pack, in the Invader core, into 3 groups. The first group makes for an easier game. I won't say easy, cakewalk, baby walk, but kind of level 1 Zombicide Invader, a solid experience. It also takes out some of the mold spawns in there, so things aren't quite as swingy with how they're going to overpower. Then there's a second tier of cards that now adds in a couple of more activations, adds in a couple more of abominations, steps it up. And then there's a third set of cards that are numbered where now everything's in play. You're going to have abominations, you're going to have multi-spawn points on the mold, you're going to have double activations, and you can kind of fine-tune the deck to how you want to play and how you want to run. For the most part, default mode, I consider myself a Zombicide master, as in I still make crazy mistakes trying to go for the glory, and I still search way too much, and I win as many games as I lose, but I'm aware of the mechanics. I'm aware of the possibilities, even though I'm like, no, it's not going to happen this turn. Trust me on this, guys. It's not going to go down like that. And then it's like, boom, boom, multiple spawn points, double abominations coming in. And it's like, wait, what? I mean, I understand it. So when I say I'm a Zombicide master, that is the perspective of it. I tend to play with Invader so far, just all the cards mixed in. I want to be surprised. I want to deal with a hopeless situation. I want to deal with the aspect of the possibility of that. The other interesting feature, and this they nailed perfectly, the ability to concentrate firepower. In the previous incarnations of Black Plague and Modern, when an abomination spawned, you needed a very high-powered weapon to take it out. So in the core, that was often only one weapon or one spell, the Dragon Fire, Alchemical Dragon Fire to take it out. If you didn't have that, you were in trouble. So if you found that in terms of searching, you had to at least get in the right position. If that was achieved at the beginning of the game where it spawns and you haven't found it yet, it changes the strategy. Now you got to run and gun. Now you got to run away from there on it. The concentrated fire rule means when an abomination spawns, you can choose to take all of your attack dice and focus it just on that abomination. And now from there, you have a chance, even with weapons that deal only 1 or 2 points. I mean, you still have to hit. There's a chance that it will all add up and you can take out that abomination or you can take out that tank on there. It's still hard, but it's not impossible. The trade-off is any extra damage does not spill over onto any of the models in there. So if you have an abomination, it doesn't mean you have to find that super powerful weapon right away to even stand a chance. I mean, you want the prototype weapons, you want to keep moving, but it shifts a little bit of the super swinginess, helps mitigate some of it at the beginning of the game if you have that abomination that spawns and now you're like, what am I going to do? So definitely the fine-tuning scalability is there. And then, of course, whether you're Kickstarter or non-Kickstarter, now starting to add in some of the expansions on there. You're going to add in Dark Side. You're going to add in some of the other abomination spawns on there, maybe play with some of the different characters and different abilities. That's going to change. That's going to push things. Depending on how aggressively you do that, you stack the deck with multiple abomination types, yes, absolutely, the difficulty is going to go through the roof. But that scalability has always been in the Zombicide games. As you pile in the expansions, as you pile in the other stuff, it definitely shifts the game to that second level.